Welcome to Lifestyle Unplugged with Monica.
And Lauren.
Lauren, you are 40.
Don't know what you're talking about. 29.
Happy birthday to you. Yay.
Yeah, we survived our Yellowstone trip. It was good. Saw some bears.
You did.
Mhm.
Far away or up close?
Well, we were in the car and they were on the side of the road, so that technically they were kind of close, but
you were in a car, so that's...
But I was in a car and they were grazing on the grass. And they were cute. They were like 2 or 3-year-olds, I think.
Oh.
Which actually got me thinking. So the week before we went to Yellowstone, there was a fatality bear attack that was right outside the campground we were at. And it was a mother bear and her
What?
2 cubs that were between 2 to 3 years old. And so we see these 2 cubs outside of our campground. Didn't see mama. And I'm looking at them going, those are probably the ones that killed that guy.
You think so?
I mean, probably.
Was it the mama that killed? Or was it...
Well, so the mom attacked, but then the 2 cubs kind of, and they're not babies. They're 2 or 3 years old. So yeah.
I think I would have turned around and went back home.
Yeah.
I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to
I'll tell you, we were
that can eat me.
On point with all of our bear protection
I'm sure
procedures.
Lorna, out of everyone in this world, I would think that you would be on point.
I was like, we're cleaning this is getting stored here. And then so the trip, we left Wednesday, we went to Heisey Hot Springs, camped there because it was like a halfway point on the drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there we went north of Yellowstone, which is actually when we saw the bears because we were driving through to get to Chico Hot Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Woke up at Chico on my birthday, got a massage, which was phenomenal, by the way, and then went to our campsite that night. And I was like, I am 1000% bear bait right now because I was covered in all these scented oils that they say don't have scented lotions or anything at camp. And I was like, I'm gonna get eaten by a bear.
Were you like lavender flavor for them, or
it was citrusy mint? I think was the flavor they went for.
You would have been delicious to a bear.
Yep. I was like, as I was getting dressed after the massage, I was like trying to wipe off the lotion.
It's like you were in bear marinade.
I was. And I mean, we're camping, so I didn't really have a way to shower. So I've got like the baby wipes. I'm like, oh my gosh. Get up close and personal with the bears.
Hopefully they were unscented baby wipes.
Honestly. Yes. Yes, they are. I don't.
Because I was going to say, you take
scented anything is actually really bad for anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm very into my this is the season of unscented for me because I have just read too many things, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you had a massage and you were not a bear meals.
Snack dinner.
Yeah, bear snack.
Meal.
Mm-hmm.
We did leave the dogs because the bear.
That didn't sound good.
At home.
Okay, thank you. Because we were just talking about bear snacks.
And then we left the dogs.
You're like, we did leave the dogs. Okay.
Well, I meant because the number of bear attacks that were happening and sightings, because they're waking up from hibernation, they're hungry, they're hangry.
Oh, they're
I was like, I don't think we need to take Biscuit because one, she's a runner.
She's a runner.
And if she were to get loose, she would become one with the national park until she was eaten by a bear. Yeah, there would just be no catching her, and you're not allowed to like run through the buffalo herds to catch your dogs. So.
Oh no, she would be a little biscuit.
So, and it ended up being much more relaxing for everybody, I think, not to have the dogs.
Yeah. Good move. Yeah. Now, when you were camping, are you in a trailer or are you in a tent?
We have a camper.
Okay. Now we're talking.
So we went there for my 30th and we were tent camping in that season of our life. But also I was 10 years younger and I didn't read all the bear stuff. So I don't know that now I wasn't as aware.
I was just going to say you weren't as aware, as knowledgeable, as paranoid.
So now I'm just like, yes, the hard side camper, bear boxes, all the things. But
That's funny.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of a little bit emotional, I feel like, to not feel like it was. We went to the campsite we went to for my 30th because we were in the
Mhm.
same campground. And to just sit there and reflect on how much has changed
Oh,
in 10
wow.
years, even just looking around the trees and the growth that they've seen. So that, and then also my dog Cody was with us when we were there 10
Oh.
years ago. So that was definitely a little bitter sweet. I don't know if it was sweet, but we did take, not to take this down to like total depression road, but we did take his ashes with us. So
Oh.
he was with us still. He's the only dog that got to go.
I'm sorry, I'm like, that was so bad. Like, it's such a sentimental thing and so sad, but then when you say he's the only dog that got to go,
You gotta laugh though. Honestly though,
just
like
like
he died at the end of July last year.
Mm.
My child still talks about it every single day. If she
Mm.
starts to get sad, she just starts crying, "I miss Cody." And I'm
Oh.
like, "I need for you to move on because it's making it real hard on me to
That
move
would
on."
be
Like,
hard.
I'm glad that we remember him, but it just like we're crying every single day about Cody.
Yeah.
Speaking of dogs, I'm watching Biscuit tear something up behind my computer right now.
I think he knows when you go on air. He's like, "Sweet, mom's preoccupied and can't run over here."
Okay, so I put her in her kennel, which takes me to another story to share with you guys, like the shenanigans of Biscuit. I have had bad experiences with dog sitters in the past. So I have a little puppy cam on her kennel just so that I know that she's getting in out of her
Yeah.
kennel more. Anyway, I checked a notification because we got service randomly in between some of our drives. And I get a camera notification and I look at it and it is Biscuit escaping her kennel.
Of course.
I was like, what the?
That's pretty funny.
So I was like, I don't have much service. So I text my neighbor. I'm like, hi, this is what's happening. Please go to my house. I just sent her the video of Biscuit escaping.
Oh, Biscuit.
Biscuit. So I have something else I want to talk about.
Yes, let's talk.
Let's talk about how awkward my husband and I are with just life in general, but really when it comes to meeting new people. You would think as a lifestyle director, I would be able to have small talk and converse with people. Monica, so we're in the campground, which by the way, jam packed. It
Yep.
was like Disney World up there. That's a whole nother
Okay.
topic. But this woman comes walking by with her daughter and waves. And so, hi. She turns and comes straight to me. And I was like, oh God. And she's like, hi, do you guys want to be friends? I was like, sure. And so she was so nice. Oh, let's take the girls down to the river and they can dig and play. And I'm just like, okay. And so we go down and the girls, Andy has no problem.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just playing away, having the best time. I could not have a conversation with this woman. I tried.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. We talked about the girls and we talked about where she was from, but then it just stopped. And I don't know if it's just society right now because you're so afraid of asking. And I do
Of
think that was
saying the
part of
wrong
it.
thing and
Right. And, I don't, because then I started talking about schools and then I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do just because there's so much technology. And then I kind of backed off and I'm like, I don't want to have a discussion with this woman about my beliefs about education. And so I feel like every topic I was like, I'm going to back
is
back
a
off.
hot topic.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be. So
Yeah.
I don't know. She was so nice. Her whole family was so nice. And they were just like 2 campsites over. So Andy made friends and it was great. But then it was like, I want to go back to my campsite now. And my child is in their rooftop tent at this point. And she told me, have a seat. And I'm like, I'm going to go over here and see what my husband's doing. And then I go over there and I'm like, what do we do? And we're both just sitting there awkwardly laughing, like, I don't know, go get her. You go get her. It's 'cause-
Wow. It was that awkward.
yeah, well, like, I don't know, because my husband was like, she doesn't need to be in their tent.
Yeah.
And she was over there eating their food. And he's like, but I don't want to look like an a-hole going
Yeah.
over and pulling her away. And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to make dinner. You figure this one out. 'Cause I don't know.
Okay. But I think this is a really great topic because
Mhm,
we as lifestyle people have a natural in, right? People naturally come up and talk to us. We're at work, so we know what's on, off limit, what's not off limit. And so it allows us to guide the conversation. And I think it gives a really great point of view for those who are new to our community and how
mhm.
we need to help them get to know people. And I
Right.
say so the reason I pivot from that or say this is because, for a client, we had an event and a lot of new residents were there. And
Mm,
some were able to talk to people
mhm.
right away. And then I saw a couple after, and because I saw them in the corner of my eye, I wasn't able to get over to them because I was working the room and didn't get to them in time. So I saw them afterwards eating dinner. So I went up to them. I'm like, oh my goodness, da 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 da. And I'm like, did you meet anyone? And they said, no, everybody else was already in their groups.
Yes.
And so we didn't want to impose.
So this whole topic of why it's so hard to make friends of an adult as an adult, I think everybody can relate to this. Well, unless you're not an adult, I guess, and you're my child. Um,
Or any
but
child.
right, yes. And I think we should take notes from them because, Andy wasn't, I mean, hot topics don't exist for them, right?
Well, and she wasn't afraid of what they might think of her.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was part of the holdup with Gemini, right? Because we don't want to look like these super strict parents, but also we have these boundaries that, you know, we're not comfortable with our child being at someone else's campsite without one of us there because we've just met these people 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
I don't think that's absurd, but
No.
it's absurd that we felt awkward going over and being, she needs to either we need to be here or you guys can play at our campsite. And so, I did a lot of thinking about this, right, Monica? Like, why is it so hard as an adult to make friends? And I think I have this experience where I had my friend group back home in Kentucky. And then I moved to Denver where I had no friends. I didn't know anybody when I moved there.
Mhm.
And the only friend group I created was through my work.
Mhm.
And now that I'm in Boise, again, all my friends are through my work. And it's because we just don't have like this built in proximity like we did when
Yeah.
we were in school, right? So, how can we, as lifestyle directors, create that? Because we're in our neighborhoods. Even in my neighborhood, I'm friends with my next door neighbor. That's about it. And that's because our kids play together.
But I think that goes with something that we always talk about, and it doesn't matter where you live, but it's the importance of building community within community, right?
Hmm.
Whether you're in a master plan community or
Like the
whether
micro communities.
or whether you're or just your neighborhood, right? Like I can look out and at my house and I can see all my neighbors' homes, right?
Hmm.
We do a nice old wave.
Hi, neighbor.
But I guarantee you, if I went over to them, and so I'm taking this, the way I'm putting this is like, if you don't have email communication,
Hmm.
a lifestyle director, how could you use this?
Hmm.
So I could make a flyer up and I could go and post it and say, Friday night gatherings, the first Fridays in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you people would show up
Hmm.
and we would start to talk
Hmm.
and our kids be running around, and that would be something that we could start talking about. Then we could talk about our neighborhood. There's this
Icebreaker type thing.
icebreakers, right? There's a lot of different things there. But if there's not a commonality, if there's nothing that links
Hmm.
us, that purposely
Hmm.
brings us together, then I think people are very hesitant because they don't want to be rejected.
Hmm.
And I think as adults, as we get older and older and older, we've seen that rejection and we're like,
Mhm.
It's not even worth our time." But I also think you get to a point where you're like, "Whatever, I'm kinda getting there. Whatever, either you like me or you don't like me," but it also depends on the environment I'm in. And
That's exactly it. It's the environment because at work, they look at me and I've told them, they have been told, "I am your friend," right? And, like, "I'm here to help you," whatever. In a completely public setting where nobody knows who I am or what I
yeah.
do, I just become so awkward. I didn't used to be that way. I used to be so chatty.
But I think that goes to what I was saying. I think it is like a roller coaster
Mhm.
of the moments of growth and change, right? I think as we
Mhm.
grow and we change, there's different things in our lives that either makes us more comfortable to talking to others or more uncomfortable, whatever it may be. And because I've been there, I
Yep.
got to a point where there was a point in my life where I wouldn't go up to people, like on my own time, right? I wasn't
Mhm.
that outgoing person. But now I'm back and I'm like the loud one, of my friend group. I'm like,
I love that.
"Hey!" And I chat and my husband's like, "Do you have to talk to everybody?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kinda do." That's just who I am
Mhm.
now. But there was a time that I was I became kind of more inverted, and
Mhm.
I just was kinda like, "It's safe over here. I
Right.
feel safe and comfortable, and I don't wanna put myself out."
I think I'm in that season. And I kinda wanna touch on what you were saying, like, the whole myth that every group is full. Like, they don't
Mm.
need a new friend, right?
Yep.
And so, they were already with their clique. But I know with my group of friends, if someone new comes in, we are just like, "Hey, come on in." So, it's one of those limiting beliefs, right?
Mhm.
That we all need to work on overcoming. But how I'm trying to think I'm thinking, like, organically on the
Yep.
spot here. How can we help remove that barrier in our communities? And I think those micro communities, like you were saying, is one really good way by having clubs where it's much less intimidating than a community-wide event, right?
Yes.
So or at those community-wide events, having small activities within that. I love a cornhole tournament too because you get assigned to
Yep.
a random person and you're with them for at least a couple hours.
Yeah, but I think to your point, Lauren, I think it is thinking about events a little differently than having the big concert and then everyone just comes in and does whatever. If we could think of having these little pocket of
Mhm,
seating areas, right?
mhm.
Or maybe you had little fire, little stove, what are they called? Those
Oh,
little
solo stoves.
solo stoves where people could go and put their camp,
Mhm,
around
mhm,
and then have a sign, join in, something like that where it tells people to come in and they're invited and it allows them to gather in
mhm,
a small group around each other. I think that's what it is. I think in the bigger group settings, it feels overwhelming. Like there
mhm,
a lot of people who are not social, uh, or maybe they are social, but they have to warm up. I think they sometimes will to an event and they just stay with their people because
mhm,
it's safe and it's comfortable, and to
mhm.
to do anything more is a lot. Now, if
Right.
you or I come up and we're like, "Hey, Betty, have you met, Jane over here?" "Oh, no," and then you can kinda get them,
Facilitate that.
yeah, kinda get them talking, and then you can, go off to the next, and I that is what that couple was looking for. Now they were brand spanking new, they hadn't even
Mm,
moved in yet, um, to their home, but it was one of those moments that I was like, "Wow, what we do is so important." Besides just
mhm,
creating the space for people to gather, we are the people who link people as
mhm.
well.
Yeah, and I think too, consistency, because you said something that kind of made me think about myself, putting myself in their shoes. I am an observer for the first 2 to 3 meetings of a group of people.
Mhm.
And then I understand what we talk about or how the conversation flows, and
Yep.
then I start to jump in. But if I'm only around these people once or twice a year, I'm never going to reach that point of so maybe it's having more consistent, small, kinda like you were saying, campfire type things.
And I think you kind of triggered a thought is I think having conversation cards around
Mm-hmm.
could be great. I think, I think you see them at weddings. I think I've seen them at weddings before.
Yeah,
But,
it's cute.
well, you have, like, just kinda, like, "Where are you from?" cards or,
Mm-hmm.
"Where were you born?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
"What if you could do anything today, what would it be?" Like, very, G-rated. Like, let's
Yes.
keep it clean and not political and have
Mm-hmm.
those kind of cards that, if you happen to be at a table, you can grab it and look and be like, "Okay." Or it's something that you encourage your residents to, "Hey, we have a meet and greet tonight. Come ready with a couple questions to
Mm-hmm.
help you get to know people." Or come ready to grab a card and ask, your table mate some questions. Something like that. Because I
Right.
think to your point earlier, it's like, what do I say that is not going to turn into a
A thing.
potential conflict?
I like the idea of you kind of alluded to it earlier of having we're going to be doing a resident community icebreaker type event at
Mhm.
one of my neighborhoods. And I like just the idea of having little signs, right? That they can come up and write a topic on and say, I'm interested in hiking. So if you're interested in hiking, then you go hang out over there. And what's your favorite
I
hiking
love that. It's
trail?
super cute.
Or I like fly fishing,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's all going to be very outdoors oriented right now because of my camping trip, but it
Yeah.
could also be I like pottery or whatever. But
And it's all gonna be dependent on where you live.
mhm. Yes,
Hey,
very much so.
what
I like going to
resources
the beach. Yeah.
what resources do you have around you that
Right.
you can gather around? Yeah,
So
I
maybe
like that. I think that's a very cute idea.
I might give
Ins
that a go. Let you
instead
know.
of instead of having I just did a poll for this client of mine
Mhm.
about clubs, right? Because I
Mm.
wanna get some clubs started for them, and I wanted to kinda see where was everyone.
Mhm.
And it was amazing to me how many people were ready to have clubs during the daytime, and this is an all-age community.
Mhm.
This is not just 55 and older. It was amazing for me to see that, and it made me excited because I was like, "Oh my goodness, what we can do during the daytime." There's just
Yeah.
so much more that we can offer, but, and we had different clubs, and I had it where they could add their own. So, this is a yacht club that I'm working at, and so we're
Mhm.
right on the water,
Mm.
and so we have, wakeboarding club and, all these different clubs, and then we have hiking, walking, book, whatever, and then we have social club.
Mm.
What I found interesting is social club was the lead.
Hmm.
Out of all of those clubs where we're very particular now they all had things, but people want an opportunity to gather together in those smaller
Mhm.
groups and just kinda talk about whatever, do whatever they feel like, and launch. So I don't know, I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting. I would think it's funny that so many people want to be involved in the social clubs and things, but then they don't come to the events. They just want to help plan them. I get that so often, and I just think it's fascinating. So it's, what is that barrier between and I maybe it's just the size of the group.
I think it goes back to what we're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah,
my brain is
you know what I'm
just
saying?
taking
Like,
off here.
but I think that's a really good point. You may
Mhm.
have people that wanna help plan because that's how they feel they could contribute to their
Mhm.
community, but they
Mhm.
don't feel comfortable outside of that.
Honestly, I feel like that's me. I love being a lifestyle director, but if I had one in my own community, I don't know that I would be as active in bigger things.
Oh, we have one in mind, and I'm
Oh,
not
you do?
active. I know,
See?
but here's the because I'm never home.
Oh, well, there's that too.
And,
Hey,
do
that's
you know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying?
We're
Like,
in such a busy season
we're
of our
doing the same
lives.
thing that they're doing, so
Mhm.
we're gonna be busy pretty much the same times they're busy.
Yeah, fair, fair. But
So,
let's talk about why, we've talked about it is in fact hard to make
yeah,
friends as an adult. It can be career, kids, just we're busy,
yeah.
busy season, the stigmas of it. But why is it important to have friends as an adult? For me, I need somebody to chat with because my husband sucks at girl talk.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't have to be this big divine purpose. It's just
Mhm.
connection and I don't know, just experiencing something with somebody. One of my favorite things to do right now is when my girlfriends come over and our kids just play. And
Yeah.
it's nothing fancy. I throw up a bounce house and we just hang out and chit chat.
I love it. It's nothing fancy. I just throw up a bounce house.
Well, okay, let me say, it's not one of
Ah,
those giant bounce houses. It's just a
that's such
little
a lifestyle director thing. It's nothing fancy. I just throw up a bounce
I
house.
throw up a bounce house, the water slide, it's fine. Um Fair. Set out some themed snacks. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that.
Um,
But we do crafts and stuff. Anyway, it's just being able to hang out. And, I think for so many of us, especially us, a lot of
mhm.
our hangouts end up being at work. So being able to find that moment where you can hang out and be your true, authentic, is this going to be politically correct in my role moment? Just be yourself.
All right. I can't even say how relevant this topic is because one of my goals
Uh-huh.
this year was to hang out with friends more
Mm,
because I have friends, but I never hang out with them.
right.
Because it's easy to come home after work and just put your PJs on and just chill. All right. And
Mhm.
then they're like, "You want to go out?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." So, when I made it a point to either ask my friends, like, let's go grab dinner or lunch or something. And I also made it a point to really get to know more people. And
Mhm.
because I think when you get married or as you get older, you
Mhm.
get so in the rut of life, of work, and all that comes to it. And also, I think the work from home culture
Mm.
also is a huge eliminator of being able to create relationships with your coworkers that maybe would lead to some, downtime, free time connection.
Mhm.
So then there's a compound effect where if you are working from home and you're
Mhm.
not able to make those relationships at work that typically are a huge part of people's life, livelihood
Mhm.
as they get older. That's usually how a lot of people make friends. And you don't take the time to get out of your community, out into your community, whatever community that may be, then you start to become reclusive, right? It's just you and your family.
Mhm.
And that's what was happening to me for a really, really long time.
Right where I am.
That's where I was, and I was there for a really long time, and it
Mhm.
wasn't until my daughter joined band.
Oh.
Once she joined band and
Mhm.
I started volunteering with the uniform team,
Became the band mom.
not only that, but I now have 3 some of my best girlfriends
Mhm.
from from the uniform team.
Mhm.
And we will text about band stuff and we will text about non-band stuff. It is so great because we have that commonality
Mhm.
of our kid and band. So we all
Right.
relate over that.
Mhm.
Some of us relate over more stuff and
Mhm.
we've kind of taken the conversation, you know, beyond PC stuff that we know
Mhm.
that's appropriate that we can discuss together. And
Right.
and some of them we haven't and that's okay. And what I love about it is I now feel like I have more resources and more people I can go to have conversations about my teen
Mhm. Mhm.
because we're in life to, we're in that same life stage together and about other things too. But I think that I say that's kind of why we need to really encourage people to get out and to volunteer or to be a part of a club or do something because it naturally will become an opportunity for them to get to know people more on an intimate level instead of a
Mhm.
superficial level like they would meet
Mhm.
at an event.
And it all boils down to just one main all anybody is trying to do in life is survive and be happy and content.
Mhm.
And there are people out there who do not want to socialize.
Oh.
And if somebody is that person, by all means, let them be.
Mhm.
But if they indicate, I think my husband is such a good example. When he comes to work events with me, he looks absolutely miserable. But when you see him, because he's ski patrolled on weekends and stuff for like 25 years, but when you see him run into a ski buddy, he just becomes this social butterfly. So it's about watching your people and seeing what topics light them up. And then, okay, how can we create that and make it a consistent thing in your life? Because I guarantee if my husband was chatting with his ski patrol buddies at least once a week, he would feel fulfilled, just that
Mhm.
sense of connection. The point is just for us to be happier and to help our residents be happier. It's not, there's no ulterior motive, I guess is what I was saying. It's contentness. I mean,
Yeah. But I think too, the whole point that you brought this up, I think it's also realizing what you struggle with.
yeah.
Like you brought this up, it was really hard for us to make friends. Well, guess what? There are a lot of other people who feel that same way. How would you like to have had that handled? Would you have liked someone that you knew say, "Oh, you haven't met, Jane? Yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
come on over. Oh my gosh, she's great." Because they're connectors, which we are within our communities.
Mm-hmm.
We are kind of the ones that we're like that blue check mark. We're like,
Mm-hmm.
that person's verifiable. Cool. They're okay. And so I'm going to encourage you to meet this person because
Mm-hmm.
I've already checked them off that you guys would be great people to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're out in the open and we
In the
don't have
wild.
in the wild and we don't have that person to say that person's okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's natural for a lot of people to kind of retreat
Right.
because they just don't know, like, are they someone I want to talk to? Are they not? So I think that's kind of it. I think us being the connectors
Mm-hmm.
or finding the people within our communities
Mm-hmm.
that can be connectors for us at events.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And I think consistency too, like any habit, you've got to keep at it, keep practicing it or skill. I don't socialize very much outside of work. So I think I mean, I looked at Andy, right? And she was so nervous at first to talk to this girl,
Oh,
but then
really?
she did. And then, I mean, it takes like 30 seconds. But then the next thing I know, she's doing a lap, waving and saying hi to everybody, everybody. And hello, like in people's windows.
Yes.
But it's because she was gaining that confidence and she was doing it again and again and again. So I think, for me personally, in my personal life, I need to put myself out there more often. For me as a lifestyle director, I need to create those opportunities consistently. And it doesn't have to be the big, huge production event. I think
Yep.
that's the key because that can start to feel overwhelming as a lifestyle director. Like, oh, I have to plan something every single week. It doesn't have
No.
to be too much. It could just be a simple play day in the park.
Yeah.
Just,
I think that's why the clubs and
yes.
groups are so important because it doesn't put it on you. It may put it on
Hmm.
you just to help get it kickstarted and to try to find a volunteer that will run it.
And to communicate it.
Yeah, and communicate it. But other than that, like it really should be something that they own and become
Hmm.
something that really jives with the lifestyle of your residents. But one thing that I said that I've, kind of just giving I want to come back to
Hmm.
was community connectors. I think it
Hmm.
would be great to have a group called community connectors
Yeah.
that would encourage all the outgoing people in your community to get together and that they would be then encouraged to be at events, and they are the
Hmm.
people that connect people to one another.
And maybe get them a special shirt or a vest to
Yes.
wear. I think of my time at
Loved
DaVita,
it.
we called them red shirts.
Uh-huh.
And so if somebody was in a red shirt, you knew you could walk up to them and they would either hang out with you, they would help you find what you need. You just knew that you could go to a red shirt.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty fun idea.
I like it, and because think of the airport, right? When
Mhm.
there's an information center.
Mhm.
Why is there an information center? Well, there's a lot of people around there that can tell you where to go,
Yeah.
but are you gonna feel comfortable going up to the ticket agent when they have
Right.
no,
A
like you
million people.
a million people. You just wanna go and get your information and it's trusted
Right.
information. You know that they are
Verified.
the ones yeah, the check mark. As we talk about this, I think that would be great.
Mhm.
And that person who's a connector has a natural icebreaker
Mhm.
with what they're
Especially if
wearing.
they're labeled. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, with what they're wearing. and they're like, "Hey, I'm a community connector. How long have you lived here?" And they chat with them, and they're like, "Oh my goodness." And then they see someone else walking by, and then those people who really don't want to be connected, they go, "I got to stay away from the red shirts."
Mm.
They take the long way around.
Just like, no, don't make eye contact. It's like the little booths at the mall. Do those even exist anymore? Yeah.
And
So go
hold
ahead.
on a second. Here's another thought. You could almost have wristbands for people. Like, I'm open to meeting people. Green,
I did
red,
that during COVID.
red, I'm
We
not
had
open.
red, yellow, and green.
Yeah,
Green, come give me a hug. Yellow, you can talk to me, but stay 6 feet away. Red, I don't actually even want to be here.
yeah,
I could repurpose
that's
those.
what I'm saying. Let's sterilize them. But, we don't need a pandemic again. But no,
no.
but, I mean, think about it. I don't know.
I'm going to play with this
I
and I'm
think
going
we
to
need to play with
implement
it.
it and we'll see how it goes.
I'm gonna play with it as well.
Love this. Yeah, I think that's a good topic for today.
I love it. Think we're done.
Draw. Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, get out there. Don't be awkward like me. Uh, um, help your residents not be awkward. But seriously, making friends might get harder, but staying connected is what really keeps us grounded. And we will see you next time. We've got a special guest coming up, so get excited for the next episode.
Yay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.